What does a foramen mean? It's nothing but it's a hole through which something is passing. Okay, all the foramen, fossa, fissures, then what do you say, meatus, conchae, all these things mean something. So you should have the you should have a basic idea of what it actually is. So foramen means just an opening or a hole. Okay, so before talking about foramen, I would like all of you to have a look at this picture. Now, can you tell me which view of skull is this? And can anyone in the chat box? Anyone in the chat box? Can you tell me which view of skull is this? Is this a view from the top or from bottom? Yeah, norma verticalis. Very good. Top. Yes, very good. Okay, you can see the parietal. Very good. Exactly. Yeah, verticalis. Okay, so this is called as norma verticalis. That is the view from above. So you can see there are few bones which are, by name you might be familiar with your frontal bone, with your parietal, occipital, and all. You might be familiar. Okay, now what I am going to do is I'm going to cut open the skull. So I've cut open the skull and I have removed something precious from it. That is the brain. So I have removed the brain, and this is the view I'll get. Okay, there are so many beautiful bones, and the brain fits into this. Okay, and on top of this, your that parietal, frontal, and occipital bones, which we saw in the previous slide, fits. So after you remove that top part, you have the brain. You remove the brain, you have this particular view. Okay. Now this particular view is very important. Why is it important? This particular view has a lot of foramens, a lot of fissures, and there are plenty of anatomical structures in this, which is very important for us. Okay, so this particular picture shows you the bones, and they are color coded. So the blue one is the frontal. Okay, when you look from front, this is the anterior part. This is the frontal. Then you have the ethmoid. Then you have a bone which looks like a Batman's wings. So it looks like a bat with its wings extended. So that is called a sphenoid. Then you have the temporal bone. The green colored ones are the parietal ones, the continuation of the parietal, which we saw in the previous slide. And there is the occipital bone. Okay, so this entire part is also known as the base of skull. Okay, so there are various holes in it, various openings. See, there are lots of openings here, and these are the openings which we will be discussing. So to make the study more easier, so this is the view of the same thing from below. So now this is known as norma basalis. We view the same foramens and same structures from below. Okay, so to make the study easier, I have divided it into three parts: anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa, and posterior cranial fossa. As the picture shows, the colored part in the front is the anterior cranial fossa, the middle part is the middle cranial, and last part is the posterior cranial fossa. And even more to simplify, we will first start about the anterior cranial fossa. So what is special in anterior cranial fossa? So this green colored, this bone, which I have, is the frontal bone. This green colored one, which I have marked now, is the frontal bone. So you have the frontal bone there. Then and this particular bone in the middle, which I've just marked in the red color, can you guess which is that bone? It's ethmoid bone. The one in the middle is ethmoid bone. So the frontal and ethmoid, along with that, one more bone is there in your anterior cranial fossa. That is part of your sphenoid bone. Okay, I'll just mark that part. So you have a part of sphenoid bone. This blue colored part is the lesser wing of sphenoid. Okay, somebody has written it as greater wing of sphenoid. This is the lesser wing of sphenoid. Okay, the other part is the greater wing of sphenoid. We will see that later. So sphenoid bone. Okay, so you have the frontal, you have the ethmoid, and you have the sphenoid bone. Now, our point of study today is regarding to the foramens. So, which is the only foramen in your anterior cranial fossa? Anyone has any idea which is the only foramen in anterior cranial fossa? There is only one foramen in anterior cranial fossa. Incisive. No, yeah, foramen cecum. Incisive is in the maxilla. Okay, it is not inside the cranial area. So I will show you where it is located. This part, you have the foramen cecum. So foramen cecum will be somewhere here. This region, you have the foramen cecum. So foramen cecum is basically a foramen in the frontal bone. Okay, some of the textbooks give it textbooks, not textbooks, the guides, I think even the Pulse gives it as located in the ethmoid bone. No, it is not located on the ethmoid bone, it is located on the frontal bone. So that is one foramen you need to know in, and nothing much passes through it except for few emissary veins. So foramen cecum is a foramen which is located in the frontal bone just in front of ethmoid. Okay, so that is the only foramen you need to know in your anterior cranial fossa. Okay. Apart from that, what is this green color structure? Something called as cribriform plates. So cribriform plate is actually, you know, the roof of your nose. The area of roof of your nose is the area found by the ethmoid bone, and cribriform plate is a part of ethmoid bone. So what is important about cribriform plate? It is that the olfactory bulbs, that is the nerve fibers for sensing the smell, it comes out through this cribriform plate. Okay, so these are the two major things which you should know in the anterior cranial fossa. So you have the foramen cecum, which is located somewhere in the frontal bone, very I mean just anterior to the ethmoid bone, and in the part of ethmoid bone by name cribriform plate, through which the olfactory bulb exits the cranium. So olfactory bulb is part of your first cranial nerve. Okay, so that is all regarding the anterior cranial fossa. So you have learned the bones, you have learned the foramen, you have learned about the cribriform plate, and you have learned about the olfactory bulb. Okay. Now we will move to the posterior cranial fossa. Okay, so the green colored part is the posterior cranial fossa. Let's see what it is made up of. Okay, now let's have a look at the bones. Okay, can we have a short quiz here? So can you name the bone which I am spotlighting now? Okay, can you name this bone? Which is this bone? Can you name it? Anyone? Yes, anyone else? Greater sphenoid, occipital, temporal. Yes, yes, yes. Many of you got it. It is temporal bone. Okay. So some of you have told it as occipital. Now I'll show you the occipital bone. Now this part is the occipital bone. So this is the occipital bone. This what do you say? Light brown colored is the occipital bone. The green colored. Can you name the green colored bone? Can you name the green colored bone? Anyone? Yes, very good, very good. Parietal. Okay. Okay. Mastoid is a part of your temporal bone, and what we are seeing green here is the part of parietal. Okay. So the mastoid ideally would be a part which is I'll just show you where the mastoid is. Somebody had told it as mastoid. So this area somewhere here, the part of temporal will be your mastoid part. Okay. Mastoid is not a separate bone, it's a part of temporal bone. So in this picture, we can see occipital as light brown colored, slightly darker brown colored is the temporal bone, and the green colored is the parietal bone. Okay, clear with it? So we will go back to the previous slide now. Why? I just want you to have an orientation of which part we are talking about. So we are talking about this part. Okay, clear? Now have a look at it. Foramen magnum. What do you mean by foramen magnum? What do you mean by foramen magnum, or what do you mean by the word magnum? Anyone? Let's keep it very simple. It is something which is very large, something which is very big, something, you know. So foramen magnum, as the name says, it's a big foramen. Okay, so it's a big foramen. Now, can I ask you a question? Which cranial fossa is it located? Anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa, posterior cranial fossa? Which one? Posterior cranial fossa. Another question can I ask you? Foramen magnum is located in which bone? Sphenoid, ethmoid, occipital, parietal? Yes. So there is a lot of question which can be asked, which will be very simple also. Okay, but you may end up getting wrong answers if you don't know where exactly is it located. Okay, so in the center you have a big foramen in the occipital bone, that is foramen magnum. So what parts passes through it? Okay, you know, a few of you have already told. I'll just type few important things. So there is something called a spinal accessory nerve. So can you tell me spinal accessory nerve is which cranial nerve? The number? Yes, 11. So 11th cranial nerve has two parts. One is spinal part, which comes out through the foramen magnum. Another is called as cranial part, which goes out through the jugular foramen. We'll talk about it later. Okay. So you have spinal accessory nerve. There are vertebral arteries there. Then part of medulla is there. Then there is apical ligament of dens, membrana tectora. All these things are passing through your foramen magnum. So it is, in particular, foramen magnum is a very important structure. So identify where it is located and just for the time being know what are the few things which passes through it. Okay. So next we will move on to something called as hypoglossal canal. Have you located a hypoglossal canal? Where is hypoglossal canal located here? So these are two small canals very adjacent to the foramen magnum. So what passes through it? As the name says, hypoglossal canal. What passes through it? What could pass through it? Yeah. Yes, 12th cranial nerve. That is your hypoglossal nerve. So hypoglossal nerve comes from the hypoglossal canal. Very simple. So you have an hypoglossal canal and there is hypoglossal nerve coming out through it. Rest of the stuff which comes out through it, you can study later. Time being, remember, there is a hypoglossal canal, and where is it located? It is located very, just lateral to the foramen magnum. Okay, just lateral to it. Okay, so you have two hypoglossal canal on either sides, and through which the hypoglossal nerve, that is the 12th cranial nerve, passes out. Okay, so that is hypoglossal canal. Now we will move to something called as jugular foramen. Jugular foramens. Just see the shape of that foramen. Slightly more lateral to the hypoglossal canal, you can find the jugular foramen. So this jugular foramen is very important. Do you know how they got the name? How they got this jugular foramen name? Any structure which is, it's because of the shape they got the jugular foramen name. Any structure with similar name, you know, any structure? Yes, Amrita. In IJV, what is IJV? Internal jugular vein. So you would have heard of external jugular vein, internal jugular vein. So this jugular vein term comes from for the, I mean, it is named for a vein which comes out through this jugular foramen. So internal jugular vein comes out through this jugular foramen. So apart from that, what else is there in jugular foramen? Cranial nerves, very important, 9, 10, and 11. Can you tell me which is ninth cranial nerve? Anyone? Yes, which is 10th cranial nerve? Vagus. And 11th is accessory. So I'll explain it. So 9th is your glossopharyngeal. Glosso means something related to tongue. Pharyngeal means something related to the pharynx. So glossopharyngeal, as the name says, it supplies a area which is very near to the tongue and the pharynx. Okay. Next is the vagus. Okay. And why the name vagus? It is because of its vague course. This is the only cranial nerve which has a course beyond the head and neck region. Okay. It has a very long route. It extends beyond the head and neck region also. So 9 and 10, 11. So 11 is there in foramen magnum and jugular foramen. So 11, I told you there are two parts of 11. One is the spinal part. 11 is basically accessory nerve. So accessory nerve is cranial root and spinal root. Cranial root comes out through the jugular foramen. Spinal root comes out through the foramen magnum. I hope that's clear. So almost we have completed the foramens in your posterior cranial fossa, except for one, which is that last one left. Internal acoustic meatus. Okay, so there is a hole which is in the temporal bone. Okay, that itself is a question. Which part or which bone the internal acoustic meatus is situated in which bone, or it is found in which bone? They may ask like that. Okay, so it is seen in the temporal bone. Now, what goes through internal acoustic meatus? Any nerve you know? Okay, tell me the nerve for hearing. Which nerve is the nerve which is going to control the hearing? Yes, 8th cranial nerve. Okay, you can say it as 8th cranial nerve or the vestibulocochlear nerve. Very good. Okay, there are lots of answers coming for the same. Yes, vestibulocochlear nerve, and along with that, one more important nerve goes inside. Very important nerve goes. Yes, exactly, the facial nerve. Okay, very important, because as a dentist, facial nerve and trigeminal nerve is the most important nerve. So you should know in and out of its path, wherever it is going, you should know the anatomy of that place. So internal acoustic meatus, you have 7 and 8. Okay, so we just discussed the exiting route of 7th cranial nerve, 8th cranial nerve, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So altogether, it is 6 cranial nerves which we have completed in the posterior cranial fossa. So total, we have only 12 cranial nerves, out of which 6, which all area it goes out, we have studied. And one point I want to teach you here is the facial nerve, it enters into the internal, through the internal acoustic meatus into the temporal bone, and it exits out through a foramen known as stylomastoid foramen. Okay, this stylomastoid foramen we won't be able to appreciate in this view, appreciate in a norma basalis view. Okay, so stylomastoid foramen, you remember. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. This 6 cranial nerves, which all route it is going to go out, we have studied it. Clear? So that is all about the posterior cranial fossa. So remember the bones, remember the foramens. Now we will move to middle cranial fossa. So this area is very, very important. There are lots of foramens here, lots of structures here, and very less explored area. When you have studied your anatomy, I know that most of you might not have explored this area much. Okay, so this is that area. Have a look at this picture. So I had previously shown you in the last slide, I have shown you around this much. Okay, this part we had discussed. Okay. So the next what we are going to discuss now is the part just above it. So it will be this area. Got it? So have a good look at which all bones are involved, which is the major big bone or the central bone here. The slightly yellowish colored bone here is the sphenoid. Okay, somebody had last time told that something about the greater wing of sphenoid. I'll just explain to you. This small one is the lesser wing of sphenoid, and this large one is the greater wing of sphenoid. Okay, so don't get it confused. So there is a greater wing of sphenoid and there is a lesser wing of sphenoid. So lesser wing is the one smaller and greater wing is the one larger. I'm just telling you the parts of sphenoid bone. So you have a lesser wing of sphenoid here, this small one which looks like a wing, and then there is a greater wing of sphenoid. Okay, there are other parts which we can discuss later. Oh, okay, so now we will go a bit detail into the same region. Yes, now we can mark one by one and we can start discussing the areas. Okay, you have a canal here which goes into the, which is going to go into the eyeball or open into the orbit. So it is known as optic canal. Okay, then you have a fissure here, superior orbital fissure, which opens into the orbital area again. So I'm just going through the structures. So you have the superior orbital fissure there. Now after that, some of the main foramens which we require, I'll just mark those in a slightly different color, blue color I'll be marking. And this foramen, anyone knows this foramen? Can you tell me which is this foramen? Foramen rotundum. Very good, Shubham. Foramen rotundum. Okay, what is this foramen rotundum so important, or why is it so important? Because the two important branches of trigeminal nerve which we deal with are the maxillary branch and the mandibular branch. So the maxillary branch goes out through foramen rotundum. Okay, I think it is very simple. You don't need mnemonics and all for knowing what passes through this foramen rotundum. So foramen rotundum, it is your maxillary nerve. Okay, hope you guys are listening. I think many of the videos have left. So people are here, I believe. Now, only 3 more foramens, important foramens left here. Just 3 more. And foramens are over. Okay, just 3 more. Listen to me. So this is another one important. I'm just marking it with a green colored arrow. Sorry. I'm just marking it with a green colored arrow. Yes. Can anyone guess the name by the shape of the foramen? Yes, it's oval. It is oval in shape. Okay, it is known as foramen ovale. Very, very important foramen. Why? Because mandibular nerve comes out through it. Very important nerve for us. You know, maxillary branches and mandibular branches are very important nerve for us. So when someone talks about, you know, nerves, or someone is going to ask me about which is the most important nerve, I will say, anytime I will say it is mandibular nerve most important, or mandibular branch of trigeminal nerve most important, followed by maxillary nerve, and then facial. Okay, so trigeminal, we don't deal much with the ophthalmic branches at all. Maxillary and mandibular branches, which all area it goes and which all area it comes out through, all these things should be thoroughly studied. So foramen ovale is going to be a very important foramen. Okay, and then there is a small foramen there. have you noticed that small foramen just behind that arrow mark of foramen ovale? Have you noticed? Yes, this another green colored which I have marked, that is foramen spinosum. Okay, another foramen. So one important structure which is going to come out through it or pass through it, rather than coming out through it, it is going to enter into the cranium. That is your nervus spinosus. It's a branch of mandibular nerve itself. So mandibular nerve comes out through foramen ovale and a small branch re-enters through the foramen spinosum into the cranium. Okay, we will discuss all those later. So, and finally, I have this one last foramen. That is what foramen lacerum. Okay, foramen lacerum is another foramen of importance. So now, can you tell me, among these foramens, if someone is going to ask you, foramen rotundum is situated in which bone? There will be options like frontal, temporal, sphenoid, parietal. What will be your answer? Foramen rotundum. It is situated in which bone? Yes, sphenoid. Now I am going to ask the same question for foramen lacerum. Can you tell me foramen lacerum is situated in which bone? Can you tell me that? Have a look at it. I am discussing about this particular foramen. Okay, this particular foramen. Now tell me where or which bone is it actually situated? Just have a look at this picture, yaar. All of you are wrong. All of you are wrong. It is not situated in one particular bone. There are three different bones. You know, it is in the junction of three bones. Okay, we will discuss about it later. Okay, now let's recap this. So you have a structure known as optic canal. So next obvious thing will be what passes through optic canal. So when you are learning about foramens, you should know what goes through it. Okay, what passes through foramen? Oh, sorry, optic canal. What passes through optic nerve? Yes, that is second cranial nerve. Very good. You learned about second cranial nerve. What about, so this has the second cranial nerve going through it. Okay. First cranial nerve, did we study about the first cranial nerve? Did we study about the first cranial nerve? That is olfactory. Did we study about? Yes, very good, Shubham. Olfactory goes out through, yes, anterior cranial fossa. Yes, exactly. Now, when I'm talking about it, go back to that picture where I've shown you cribriform plate and olfactory bulb going out through the cribriform plate. Excellent. Okay, so that is the first cranial nerve. Now, second cranial nerve is optic canal. Through the optic canal, the optic nerve goes, and optic nerve is the nerve through which your vision is carried back. Okay. So optic canal, you have the second cranial nerve. Now, what about the superior orbital fissure? Okay, now I'll tell you third, fourth, and sixth cranial nerve. Okay, Amrita has answered it. Third, fourth, and sixth cranial nerve. Now, what are these third, fourth, and sixth cranial nerves? Third one is oculomotor. Fourth is, which is fourth? Is other ones, trochlear, and the sixth one is, so you have the oculomotor, you have the trochlear, and you have the abducent which passes through it. Now, what is the importance of oculomotor, abducent, and trochlear? These are three nerves which are going to supply the muscles of your orbit. So your eyeball basically moves with the help of these three nerves, or the muscles which are supplied by these three nerves. Additional to that, what else passes through it? Your trigeminal nerve passes through it. That is the fifth cranial nerve. Now, which branch of trigeminal nerve? The ophthalmic branch of trigeminal nerve. So ophthalmic branch of trigeminal nerve passes through the superior orbital fissure, and it is going to supply the sensory supply to the area around the eyeball. Okay, so these are the nerves: third, fourth, sixth, and your fifth one, or the part of fifth one of ophthalmic part. And foramen rotundum, you already saw the maxillary part of cranial nerve goes, or the fifth cranial nerve goes out through foramen rotundum, and the mandibular part of the fifth cranial nerve goes out through foramen ovale. So let's have a look. We studied the first cranial nerve, that is olfactory, the second cranial nerve, that is optic, the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth now. So did we complete all the cranial nerves? Did we? Yes or no? Are you listening? Yes. Why? Because previously we saw 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this part we just completed the first 6. So it's very easy when you learn like this. When you learn like this, it is very easy to connect one picture. This picture screenshot, if you're taking, you will approximately have an idea of whichever nerves are there. Now, any kind of question they can ask from here. Optic canal is situated in which bone? One question is that. Now, the abducen nerve comes out through cranial, or it goes out from cranium through which foramen or fissure, or any sort of question can be asked from this picture. So remember, study through the pictures. It is very easy to learn, or very easy to relate things. Okay. Otherwise, you won't have any idea where the superior orbital fissure is located. And simpler question is, 12th cranial nerve is hypoglossal nerve. 12th, somebody has asked me 12th cranial nerve from which foramen. 12th is hypoglossal nerve. Hypoglossal nerve comes out through hypoglossal canal. Okay. So foramen and canal are almost same. Yeah. So now I will just move on to the next slide. This is your sphenoid bone in detail. So it is a very beautiful bone. I love teaching sphenoid, and you know why? The majority of the stuff which is of relevance to us belongs to the sphenoid. The nerves, the vessels, all those structure, and it has this this particular region. I'm drawing it as yellow. This particular region has your pituitary gland. So this is one of the most important bone in the base of skull. Okay, so just have a look, or we will just recap our nerves which we have studied, or the structures which we have studied. So you have the optic canal here. So optic canal, it goes out through, or through the optic canal, the optic nerve goes through it, and you have some artery known as ophthalmic artery. Okay. The detailed structures we can discuss later. Then superior orbital fissure. Everyone remember this: 3, 4, 6. These are the nerves which are going to supply the muscles of eyeball. Okay, so that goes through the superior orbital fissure. Next is the foramen rotundum. That is your maxillary division of your trigeminal ganglion. Okay, so this is the foramen ovale, the mandibular division of your trigeminal ganglion. Then you have the foramen spinosum. Okay, so these are basically the foramens located within the or the structures within the sphenoid bone. Okay, remember it. Remember all of them. Now, I've just put the picture of your trigeminal nerve. So have a look at this foramens and fissures which we had discussed previously. So this particular region, can you tell me through which foramen or fissure the ophthalmic branch is coming out? What is that particular red colored hole? Yeah, superior orbital fissure. Very good. So superior orbital fissure opens somewhere behind your eyeball. So you have your eyeball somewhere here, right? Sorry. You have your eyeball somewhere here. You have the eyeball here, and
behind the eyeball, there is an opening which is known as superior orbital fissure, through which the ophthalmic branch of trigeminal nerve is going to come out. So that is the ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. What about the maxillary division, which is this particular foramen? Which is this particular foramen rotundum? Very good. It through which the maxillary nerve goes, and there is a small foramen here that is known as infraorbital foramen. That is in the anterior region, which we will talk about later. Okay, so this is the foramen ovale. Okay, so this is the trigeminal nerve, the big ganglia here, and from there, this is all these things are going back, or all these things are coming out. So yeah, finally, foramen lacerum, as I discussed, it is a triangular hole in the base of skull located between three important bones: sphenoid, the apex of petrous temporal bone, and basilar part of occipital bone. So it is actually formed by three bones. Okay, so now we can just have a glance at what all structure passes through each of these. Okay, so you have the foramen ovale. Now, can any of you tell me what you understand by a mnemonic? What do you understand by something called as mnemonic? What do you mean by it? This particular term, mnemonic. What does it mean? Okay, I'll just simply tell you. Everything you cannot study. Yes, short form to learn. Very good. Code. Yes. So something to remember, something which you can link. Okay. So here, what is the mnemonic which I've given? It is male, foramen ovale, male. So M4. So you have M, and M for what? M for mandibular nerve. Then A for accessory meningeal artery. L for lesser petrosal nerve. Then E for emissary vein. Now, what do you mean by emissary vein? See, any vein which acts like a messenger for the blood supply within the cranium and the extracranial blood supply is known as emissary vein. So it is a vein which basically connects the venous supply externally to the venous supply within the cranial cavity. Okay, so you get emissary veins through all foramens. So anywhere you can find a small emissary vein. So the mnemonic male stands for M for mandibular nerve, A for accessory meningeal artery, L for lesser petrosal nerve, E for emissary vein. So today's my class, my aim is for you to remember mandibular nerve. Mandibular nerve goes through foramen ovale. That's more than enough. Rest you can study later. Okay. After the class, if you shut down or if you close the window, you should be remembered at least through foramen ovale, mandibular nerve is going. Okay. Now, foramen spinosum, we can remember it as men. So you have a middle meningeal artery going through it, emissary vein, and N for nervus spinosus. As I said previously, I said the foramen ovale through which your mandibular nerve comes out, and one small branch of mandibular nerve divides outside and it goes back into the cranium, which is known as nervus spinosus. Okay, so that's about foramen ovale and foramen spinosum. Now, what about lacerum? So basically, through lacerum, you can remember it as a MEIG. There is meningeal branch of ascending pharyngeal artery. One artery, okay, one artery which is giving a branch to the meninges. That is what is meant by meningeal branch of ascending pharyngeal artery. Don't get confused when there is a longer name. Just means it's a artery or it's a branch to the meninges. Okay, so artery is basically ascending pharyngeal artery. Then there is again an emissary vein. Okay, again emissary vein comes here. Emissary vein was there in spinosum. Emissary vein was there in foramen ovale also. Okay, other structures, very important structures which partially traverses are internal carotid artery and another nerve which is greater petrosal nerve. And finally, foramen rotundum, we all remember it is maxillary nerve. So if you are very confused about it, you can remember it by the name Rotomac. There used to be a pen, Rotomac. Okay, so if you want, you can remember it as Rotomac. Mac, you can associate it with maxilla. So rotundum, maxillary nerve, something like that. If you want, you can remember. Okay, And one suggestion I would give to you is, for simple things and all, don't confuse by putting mnemonics and all. Okay, simple things, keep it simple. Difficult part, you make mnemonics and all to understand or to remember. Okay, so next is, yeah, this is a picture. This is a picture which shows, on which is showing all the foramens and what all things passes through it. Now, canalis innominatus is an extra foramen which is occasionally seen between the spinosum and ovale. So and before we conclude with this session, we will have a look at others few foramens as well. I want you to recognize this particular foramen here. Can you tell me which is that foramen? Yes, mental foramen, through which the mental nerve and blood vessel come out. What is this foramen, the second one? So the first one you all said it is mental foramen. So it's a foramen seen in the mandible, through which the mental nerve and blood vessels come out. What is this foramen? Dr. Revati, it is inferior orbital. Okay, infraorbital. Sorry, infraorbital. Yeah, this is infraorbital foramen. Yeah. So few of you have written inferior. It is infraorbital foramen. Now there are other structures which I want you to just understand it, or just recognize it. So this is one structure, and this is another structure, and this is yet another structure. So let's start. What is that blue colored arrow pointing on to? Which particular structure is that? Blue colored one. Blue colored one. Yes, somebody said it right. It is what? It is optic canal. Okay, it is optic canal. Now what is that green colored one pointing on to? Anyone? Yes, superior orbital fissure. I hope you can relate it. Okay, so this is a view from front. Till now we were studying a view which was from above. Okay, this is a view from front when you're looking from front. Okay, and now the only one left is the yellow colored arrow. What is it? Inferior orbital fissure. Okay, inferior orbital fissure is another fissure which is there in the skull, and through which the maxillary nerve and maxillary blood vessels pass. Okay, then zygomatic nerve, intraorbital blood vessels. Okay, all those structure passes through the inferior orbital fissure. So recognize these foramens, fissures, and there should be ideally one more foramen in this area. Can any one of you tell me there is a foramen which is supposed to be here? Which is that foramen? Supraorbital foramen. Okay, there is a notch and a foramen in this area, through which basically the supraorbital vessels and nerves come out. Okay, so I think almost all the major foramens have been covered. So it is around slightly more than 35 minutes of class. That I think it's 40 minutes of class. So from this we will have some 5 questions and we will conclude today's session. Okay, so can I have answer to the first question? Which among the following cranial nerves does not pass through jugular foramen? Excellent. So tell me which all cranial nerves pass through it and which is the exception. Yes, the 8th cranial nerve doesn't pass through it. 8th cranial nerve passes through which foramen or which particular structure? 8th goes through which particular structure? Internal acoustic meatus. Very good, excellent. And what other nerve goes through internal acoustic meatus? Excellent, facial. Okay, very good. And the facial nerve exits the cranium through which foramen? Exits the, yeah, stylomastoid. Okay, so it enters into the temporal bone through the internal acoustic meatus and comes out from the temporal bone through stylomastoid foramen. Okay, clear? So the first question, you all have cracked it. Very good. Now a very simple question for you. Mandibular nerve exits through, yes, foramen ovale. Very good. Optic foramen is located within what? Within which bone? Yeah. Yes. Anyone has doubt? Optic foramen. So I have discussed about optic foramen from the superior view, from the frontal view, and now we have discussed a question on the same. Now what goes through superior, so optic foramen or optic canal, what goes through, or what is the content of it? Which structure goes through optic canal? Optic nerve. And one more structure which I told you. Optic nerve and some artery I said. Yes, ophthalmic artery. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Okay. So optic foramen is located within the lesser wing of sphenoid. Okay. Somebody had a doubt whether it was lesser wing or greater wing. So I had explained which is the lesser wing and I had explained which is the greater wing of sphenoid. Which foramen is not present in sphenoid bone? Yes. Which foramen is not present in sphenoid bone? Okay, very good. Jugular foramen is in the posterior cranial fossa, isn't it? So can you tell me what other structures you remember which is present in foramen in sphenoid bone? Which other structures are there apart from spinosum, ovale, rotundum? Which other structures are there? Yeah, optic canal is there. Very good. Lacerum, okay, it can be related, but it is not within the sphenoid. Okay. Optic canal is there. Superior orbital fissure is there. Very good. Foramen lacerum, remember, it is not a part of sphenoid bone, but it can be okay. Okay, when you are asking which if it is related to sphenoid, yes, you can say it is partly or partially related. But to be very specific, it is not part of sphenoid bone. Okay. Last question of the day. Triangular hole at the base of skull located between the sphenoid apex of petrous temporal and basilar part. Very good. So that is foramen lacerum. And finally, what is stylomastoid foramen? What is stylomastoid foramen? Which structure comes out through stylomastoid foramen? Facial nerve comes out. Okay. So the answer is foramen lacerum. So that was